This is First 7 Days, a series in which I give my first impression on the first week of an update. Anything added or removed past August 5th will not be mentioned. While I did find the first week of the Ranked Knockout update, aka 18.0, to be fun, but that was primarily due to Ranked mode being released. Other than that, the update was pretty mediocre at best. Heck, I'd even say the same thing about all the other updates they released after Scrapper Stumble, aka 11.2. However, Tropical Tides is a damn good update. While this video is about tropical tides, I want to briefly talk about the end of the last update, that being YEETROPOLIS aka 19.0. Originally, the update was slated to end on July 21st, 2025, which oddly enough was a Monday, and they usually release updates on a Tuesday. Instead, Milatonic ended up extending YEETROPOLIS by 8 days, so it ended on July 29th, 2025, which was a Tuesday. The Fame Pass got extended too. I don't remember the last time they delayed an update, but on the bright side, Milatonic unvaulted Star Chart, and most importantly, after 999 days, we got the return of Cosmic Highway. They actually waited until it reached 999 days to unvault it, which I just found so funny. I actually laughed out loud when I learned that. They made a huge spectacle about it by changing the skybox in the lobby to space and bringing back 321 space, which only contains the SS2 maps. On one hand, bringing back 2 levels when you delay your next update is a great thing to do, and arguably the best time to do so when player morale will be lower than normal. But I feel like they should have saved those levels for the next update. It would have made Tropical Tides more impactful, but the argument could be made that it would be weird unvaulting space rounds during your beach themed update. But they unvaulted Seesaw during the winter update, aka 11.5, and Freezy Peak in the Fallen Fantasy update, aka 11.6. Plus, I doubt people would have cared if they unvaulted them a week later. But with Cosmic, they wanted to do the whole 999 days thing. With how sudden the delay felt, they probably didn't have any LTM scheduled for the week, so they just unvaulted 2 levels and were able to bring back an SS2 LTM as a result. But regardless, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Cosmic Highway is back. That's just crazy. Now, let's talk about the round pool. As a result of Cosmic Highway and Star Chart being unvaulted at the end of YEETROPOLIS, we didn't get any Classic or Unity levels in this update, at least not during the first week of the update, that is. Basically, every 2025 update except for this one has brought back a Unity level, which is just crazy to think about. The biggest round pool change is a knockout. In total, it now has 101 maps, whereas previously it had 30 maps, 60 of them being Unity AK Classic maps, and 41 creative made rounds. Milatonic also made 3 new levels, those being High Tide, Pure Pressure, and Seaside Sprint. Well, they did make a 4th one, but that was exclusive to the Blender Beach Bonanza LTM, that being in, egg, out. The name feels like it was generated by AI, but regardless, most of Milatonic's creative levels starting from the July 2024 update until the present day are a knockout, along with a good portion of Unity levels. Milatonic would try to keep the round pool the same between Knockout and its ranked counterpart. However, that isn't the case anymore. Ranked Knockout still has 30 levels, 18 Unity, and 12 Milatonic creator-made rounds. It's funny, in my How Milatonic Destroyed the Community's Trust video, I talked about how the round pool between Knockout and Ranked Knockout shouldn't be the same, and I know this was done in advance and not as a result of my video. I just find it funny that they actually did it. Now that the round pools between the 2 modes are different, let's hope they add more levels to Ranked Knockout, because it gets pretty boring playing the same levels over and over again. And you might say, with ranked, you want to have a smaller round pool so players can learn the levels. But let's be honest, if you're playing ranked, you should be expected to know how these levels work. Most, if not every level that's in ranked are in other modes, like Knockout. But can we talk about how they brought back Treasure Trove, a level they removed a few days into the Ranked Knockout update? They thought all the hate died down, so it's safe to bring back. Come on, man, just get rid of that trash ass map. Slam Cycle is another map I wish they didn't bring back, but I do understand you want something for the casual player base, and as a map is fairly easy, so I'll give it a pass. But Castle Siege, such a mediocre level. With the vault only having 8 Unity levels, the next step would be to bring back variations, and with this update, Milatonic did just that. I won't list every variation they brought back, you can find them in the wiki, but we got these Satellite Scramble variations which were only in the game during Season 2, aka Satellite Scramble. It's been nearly 3 3 years since we've seen these variations. Currently only 2 SS2 variations are in the game, those being Satellite Scramble Leading Light and Satellite Scramble Split Roll-Off. Hoping every update going forward will unvault more SS2 variations, cause some of them were really creative. We also got some Blast Ball Banger variations, and I'm just so happy we got the Big Shots variations from Blast Ball Bangers. It'll make the level more fun to play and just so much more chaotic. Tiptoe with Blast Balls is going to make the map a cakewalk, and Thin Ice with Blast Balls, that's just gonna be hilarious. Although I don't know how they didn't bring back the Blast Ball variant of Hexaterrestrial, and I hope they bring back the Wormhole variations and add them to the core modes. They also added some variations from Hard Mode and the Low Gravity variants as well, but at the moment they can only be found in Knockout. They've been trying to prop up Knockout ever since it got introduced back in 10.9, aka Fall Forever, so this doesn't surprise me in the least. A pretty underhanded way of getting people to play Knockout in my opinion. Although I don't know why they brought back Tail Tag's Center Blizzard Fan variant, unless the fans turn off every now and then, otherwise people would just float for the entire game. Unfortunately, we did get a variation vaulted, that being the No Spin variant of the Swiveler, which most people think is a bug, but no, it's in fact a variation. I almost never see this variant, so I have no idea if this was in the game to begin with. Overall, it's great seeing these variations in the core modes, and we can only hope we get more in the future. Fame Pass 20 aka Tropical Tides, much like the update, is beach themed, and let me just say this, I love the ice party costume. I just love iced teas in general. I'm currently in Canada and I've been trying out different iced teas like Fooze Tea, Peace Tea, Brisk, and really whatever iced teas I can get my hand on. Love lemon iced teas especially. Its variant Brew Tea Full Lime looks good too. The lava color and faceplate looks really nice, although they do look similar to colors we've already gotten, but they look nice in general. The Megatooth costume and its variation really reminded me of the Shork costume from SS3's Season Pass. However, this is the second pass in a row to have a banger emote. Crab Dance starts out slow, but it ends really strong. Like, the dance near the end is great. Overall, I like this Fame Pass, mainly because of the tea costumes, but there's nothing I really dislike. Even the celebration is okay at best. In terms of things added to creative mode, this update is substantial. While we didn't get a budget increase, which I find baffling, since this is basically the game's 5th anniversary update, a 500 memory unit bump would have been great, but maybe they're saving that for 2026. Let's first talk about the most insignificant but interesting change. The padded semicircle has been slightly redesigned and is now classified as a primitive. While on the topic of primitives, after introducing them in the Shapes and Stickers update AK 10.7, which for reference released on January 23rd, 2024, or well over a year ago, we finally got new primitives, those being blunted cone, wedge, hexagon, quarter bowl, capped pipe, quarter circle, and square pipe. These aren't earth-shattering, but more shapes means more design opportunities. They can help with detailing, help with making models, structures, or could even be used as obstacles. This is something the average player won't get excited over, but I can see a veteran mapmaker really appreciate the new shapes. Like with every update, we got some new decorations. We got an inflatable turtle called Turtle, and the name is even in the object's description. And just like Chonkert, I love Turtle. Maybe not as much as Chonkert, but I love him nonetheless. They added 9 decorations in total, those being banana, drawable patterns, mango, watermelon, crown, inflatable turtle, palm tree, parasol, and colored flags, which currently have 3 variants: bean, colored, and crown. Can't believe it took us 2 years into creative mode to get the crown as a decoration. People are able to make true Fall Mountain inspired maps, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to quickly talk about the drawable patterns. In Unity AK Classic levels, you'll often see these patterns on the floor, which are based on the season's theme, which always added a nice touch. And now creators are able to add the exact same touch. We currently have 10 different patterns. 9 of them are based on patterns you'd find in classic levels, with the waves being new. They also added some new VFX, ripple, and foam. I kinda don't care about the VFX that much in general, but I suppose they help with detailing, and foam could be used to hide stuff, which is cool I guess. And oh yeah, stickers. They added 6 of them: coral, palm tree, fish, bird, seashell, and boat. I always forget to mention this, but they added a new color palette, that being Blunder Beach. Above the clouds and Blunder Beach have been added as backgrounds. I believe Above the Clouds is similar if not the same as the one found at Big Fans. Honestly, it's not that great, but the Blunder Beach skybox is also not that great looking. Fairly empty, it's supposed to invoke the feeling of being in the ocean and these little islands out in the open. However, at the bottom of the skybox, there's some water and you're able to interact with it. Walking through it will make you move slower. And I was shocked to learn there was actually water that you could interact with at the bottom of the skybox. And also, you're able to submerge obstacles, making it look really cool. Even slime coated surfaces can be submerged and still retain their slime properties, which means you can still dive slide. Really glad we got a skybox that has terrain that affects the player, and I believe it's the first one. Still hoping for that rain skybox though. Being able to turn drums, blizzard fans, speed archers, and carry object spawners invisible is going to make levels look a lot more polished, especially with drums. Speed archers still maintain their pulsing aura, so you can tell that it's a speed arch. I remember asking for the ability to just have the speed but not the arch in one of my videos. Can't remember which one, but I'm glad we got it now. After months of creators asking, we finally got the movement controller. It comes in two parts, the controller itself and a waypoint, which is basically where the objects attached to the controller will stop. You're able to move the waypoint freely. I did a very limited test, so I don't fully understand the controller, but nah, the fact that you can't link the Beanmobile to the movement controller is a crime. Even worse is that you can't link the turtle to the controller either. Like now, we need an update like right now, being able to link the Beanmobile and turtle. I don't care, but we need that update now. I truly think the movement controller is a game changer, and I cannot wait to see what people cook up. This alone makes up for the lackluster updates we've gotten to creative mode the past few months. In this section, I'll give my thoughts on the new levels made by Team Fall Guys. Let's start with High Tide. This level showcases the strength and the abilities of the movement controller, along with highlighting the Blunder Beach skybox's unique terrain, multiple routes both having moving objects that you either need to avoid or use to pass on by. It's one of those levels that I needed to learn the timings of in order to get a decent run, which isn't a bad thing. If anything, it's great and actually makes the level more fun to play and really rewarding when you learn the best lines and just know the patterns and just know where to be. It's awesome. The bottom part of the second section has some shortcuts that you can do, which is pretty neat. You actually use some of the objects to jump over the fence. The level is pretty enjoyable and has plenty of engaging elements to help it from feeling boring. But nah man, I legit had so much fun playing Peer Pressure. This level is just awesome. I was smiling during my first playthrough. You hop on different boards and try to survive the oncoming obstacles and just try to survive to the very end. It starts off easy but amps up in difficulty. It's just fun. Nothing else I can say. Definitely one of the better finales made by Team Fall Guys. I could see myself enjoying the map less and less with time, but at the moment I love it. But a map that I didn't love is Seaside Sprint. It's just annoying to play. I'm sure as I get better I'll come to enjoy it, but if you're not on the proper pace, you're just waiting around, and if you make a mistake, you're paying for it dearly. I don't know man, I just don't like the level, even though it does showcase more elements of the movement controller. On the bright side, the level is short and also showcases the invisible drums, which made the level look a lot more polished. This time, Miotonic released their LTM exclusive level when the update was released. Unlike the last update where they released Massive Golf like a few weeks or a week or two later, I can't remember. I only played one game of it, and the concept of the walls closing in is cool, but that's the only good thing I have to say about the map. It's just boring. All in all, we got some fairly good levels that showcase the movement controller and all the new content added to creative mode. A big one is that Fall Guys on the Switch 2 now runs at 60 FPS, whereas previously it ran at 30 FPS, much like its Switch 1 counterpart. As someone who owns the Switch 2, I finally have a reason to play Fall Guys on the Switch. I did install it on Switch 1 during SS4, but I never played a game on it due to how laggy it was on the home screen. It took forever to load the store, so I just uninstalled the game and never looked back. Like with every update, the background on the home menu has changed to reflect the update's theme. that being beach. The bright blue water does look calming, but visually uninteresting. Although that's not saying much because most of the updates like lobby backgrounds are actually visually uninteresting. Well, except for Scraphead Stumble and I think YEETROPOLIS, those had some interesting backgrounds. I'm so happy that they kept the 2 extra daily challenges. This was added in the middle of the last update. I thought they would have gotten rid of it by now, but they didn't. So thank you for not doing so, Neotonic. I'd be amiss not to mention Fall Guys' 5th year anniversary. With it, they released the Anniversary Party Live event, along with a Mastery event that houses the more difficult challenges. I say that with air quotes. They released the Anniversary Party Live event, and unlike last year, it includes levels made in Fall Guys Creative. Just like last year, every round represents a specific season. So round 1 will always have a level from Legacy Season 1 or just Season 1. Round 2 will always have a Season 2 level, and all the way until round 10, where the finale could be from any season or update. I personally don't have the endurance to play 10 rounds in one sitting, so I only played one game of Anniversary Party, and whether or not you like creative rounds, its exclusion from 2024's edition of Anniversary Party was weird, almost like they were ashamed of it. Creative rounds are a part of the game's history and should be represented in the game's anniversary LTM. Neotonic also brought back the Happy Birthday costume, and this is the costume's second appearance. The first one was during the game's first anniversary, and that was when I first got the costume. It was in the store for 10 kudos back in the day, and it seems like inflation didn't catch up with the costume because it's still 10 kudos. At first, I really didn't like the anniversary event skins, but they've grown on me. They have character, and they really sell the stumbliness or the goofiness of Fall Guys. Special thank you to our Max Store, aka $5 members, Jumper Runnin', Deckle, The Editor, Exody Profi, The Salt, TM, and Scrawny for your support as always.